Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we'll be taking a look at another Transformers Titans Return exclusive. And I know what you're probably saying to yourself, hey, this packaging looks somewhat familiar. If you've seen my video for Grotesque, this packaging is very similar. Very black with a little bit of white. I really like the white Autobot symbol in this kind of like Star Blast or Meteorite type looking design here. Otherwise, the packaging's pretty basic. Just says Transformers there on the side. Otherwise, it's just mostly black. Not a whole lot going on. But you can open it right here. And I'll try not to rip this cardboard. And open this as well. And it is Titans Return Arcee. So you can see the card here. And she also comes with a Titan Master for Ultra Magnus. Now, I really like this packaging. Like I said, it's very similar to the packaging for Grotesque that we've already seen. Here is Arcee with Leonad, her Titan Master, and then a Titan Master for Ultra Magnus. And when we open this up, you get that really nice, beautiful Arcee artwork there. You get the Titan Master for Ultra Magnus, and then, of course, you get the Titans Return Arcee figure, which, as you can probably tell, is a remold of Blur. That mold has definitely seen some usage, but it's a pretty good mold. I'm pretty happy with it. I think they did a pretty nice job with this. So this was originally a Hasbro Toy Shop exclusive, but has now widened to become a Toys R Us exclusive. So I got this on ToysRUs.com. I will go ahead, get Arcee out of this packaging, and we'll take a closer look. So here is Arcee out of the packaging. And she's actually a little bit lighter pink than she's showing up on camera. She's kind of showing up as like a magenta, but really in person she's more of like a soft lighter pink, which I think works better in person. We'll take a look at little Ultra Magnus first. He is super white. I think they were going for kind of an homage to the original G1 toy, where obviously you had the white cab that was just the Optimus Prime toy with kind of a little bit of blue and red painted on his face so that it would show underneath the helmet piece. And then the trailer was different. So I think they were going for an homage to that white Optimus Prime cab, because this guy is pretty much completely white with that little bit of blue painted on his face and just kind of a red visor. It looks okay. I mean, I get what they were going for. If you transform it into the head, I think they did a pretty good job with the Ultra Magnus sculpt. I really like the big blue eyes. Very G1 cartoon. So I think that looks pretty good. The headpiece, kind of the whole center core, is die-cast metal. The joints on mine are incredibly tight. They're starting to loosen up as I play with it more, but at first, like, just all the joints are really tight. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I'm just afraid I'm going to break, especially like the head. The head is just kind of starting to be able to be turned, but that ball joint is really in there. He still can't really look to his right. Yeah, it's just really tight. But I mean, it looks good. Like I said, I appreciate the die-cast metal. I really think that the Ultra Magnus head is the best part about it. At this point, I feel like we just need a Springer headmaster, and I don't think we're going to get one because Titans Return is pretty much done at this point. But we got Hot Rod, we got Blur, we got Cup, we got Arcee, we got Ultra Magnus. Springer always gets left behind. No love for Springer. But this is a really nice little Titan Master. I think they did a pretty good job. Sure, they could have done a little bit more paint in the little robot mode, but again, like I said, I think I know what they're going for, and they kind of did achieve that, so looks pretty good. So we'll put him off to the side for now, and we will get into Arcee herself. I think aesthetically she looks pretty good. Obviously, you know, the trained eye will see that this is a remold of Blur. Definitely our third time getting this mold, because we've had it as Blur and also as Brainstorm. I do think it worked pretty well as Brainstorm, I'm not going to lie. And I think it works decently here for Arcee. Just for fun, I thought I would bring in the Generations Arcee, because I happen to have her handy. I don't know. I think it's kind of funny, putting these next to each other, this almost looks like a third party or something like that, but I feel like this one is definitely more feminine, if you're looking for like a feminine looking Arcee, because obviously that's what she was. But this one's not without its charms. And I think you can kind of see, these are pretty much the same color pink. So I don't know. It's been a while since I've taken a look at this toy, and this toy does have a pretty hefty backpack, which you can see. But that's kind of what Arcee looked like on the show. She had those kind of shoulder pads, and you can see that they tried to mold them in here, and it kind of works for this mold. I definitely like the rounded shoulders here. It's all one piece, but you can see the rounded shoulders, and then they put these pieces on the back so that it gives that kind of look of having those on the back like she always did in the cartoon. So, I mean, like I said, if you had to boil it down to one or the other, I think this one is probably still the more definitive Arcee. And I mean, it took years to really get Arcee figures. I think the first one we ever really got was in the animated line. But I still think this is kind of the definitive Generations Arcee. But this toy was pretty hard to find. It kind of came out towards the end of the line, and it was very sought after and just a little difficult to get a hold of. So I think this one is a passable replacement. If you had a hard time finding this one, I don't think this is a pretty viable alternative. I don't think this will let you down. So, just wanted to kind of show those side by side. Articulation is not really any kind of surprise if you're familiar with this mold. You have the swivel here in the shoulder as well as the ball joint. There's like a swivel where it actually meets the body and then a ball joint in the actual shoulder. As you can see here, she has the big shield. Really nice Autobot symbol there on the shield. You can take this off and you can plug this in on the back. Just like Blur and Brainstorm before her. So you have those two shoulder joints, you have this swivel here in the bicep, and it's kind of, mine's kind of weird. Like if I try to turn it this way, it almost like completely pops out. You kind of have to push it in or push it towards the outside. And then like once you get it to go, it's fine. And it might just be mine. It's not a big problem. But see, like if it almost wants to pop the whole thing out of the joint. If I like push it in, or I'm sorry, push it out actually, and then spin it, I get much better results. But again, that might just be mine. There might just be like a catch that I have to file down or something in there. Then you have this 90 degrees at the elbow. And then you do have wrist rotation as well. And you can see she comes with these two little gun accessories. They're very, very tiny. They are identical. Little gray guns. They do have just kind of rectangle pegs, but they fit into the hands very easily. I think they look pretty good. She's got kind of like dual pistols, you know, like she's an assassin kind of going around. You can see the head jiggles a little bit. I don't know if that's necessarily... That might be the ball joint, honestly, of the Titan Master. I'm not quite sure. But you have waist swivel right there. You have a ball joint in the hip. You have a thigh swivel. You have pretty much over 90 degrees in the knee. And then you have this joint here for the transformation. That's not really an ankle, but it's there. I don't know why you need to move it for robot mode, but you could. So yeah, overall, I think they did a nice job. With these online exclusives, you definitely get a little bit more paint than the normal line does, and I think it really does show. I think the one great thing that Arcee has going for her is her paint apps. Just overall, really nice blend of the white and the pink. I kind of wish there was an Autobot symbol somewhere here on the chest where it was on here. Or maybe like that right there. Kind of seems like that gray spot could have been an Autobot symbol. It's even kind of shaped like one. So I'm not sure if that was supposed to be or not. But overall, I think the figure looks pretty good. I'm going to pop the Titan Master off real quick. First of all, the face. I think it looks great. I really do think they did a good job. It doesn't scream Arcee to me, mostly because, as I showed you the head over here real quick, you know, those Princess Leia buns are just a little bit bigger, and I think they just couldn't quite accentuate them here with a Titan Master, and I get that, you know what I mean? So that's why I say, I think they did a good job. I like the blue for the eyes, looks nice, a little bit of pink on the side. Transforming the Titan Master, again, a lot of white, and the head is a very interesting choice. It's kind of a just solidly silver painted cone head. Now, when I heard this set was happening, and I said, oh, we're getting a Titan Master, Headmaster for Arcee, obviously it reminded me of the Rebirth episode from the final season of the G1 TV series. They go to the planet Nebulos, and Daniel, Spike's son, gets injured, and he has to become a headmaster for Arcee in order to save his life. Now, whereas all the other headmasters actually looked like their toys, for Daniel, they just put him in the exosuit from the movie. So I'm wondering if that is what they're going for here. I mean, if you look at the legs and the design of the body, it does kind of look like Spike's exosuit. And if you remember, those exosuits had those weird cone glass domes over their head. So I'm wondering if, again, you have the weird dome, so maybe that's what they're going for. I get it that they couldn't, I mean, they certainly can't paint a face on the dome if they're trying to pretend this is Daniel. I get that. And it would be very difficult at this size to kind of put like a head with a dome over it. So I get that this was kind of their only option. Like, they wanted to mold the dome into it because that's what the design looks like. Daniel and Spike's exosuits have like this kind of look with the weird dome. Just at this size, they didn't really know what to do with that dome head. They couldn't paint a human head on it. Certainly couldn't put glass over something because, one, this is the part that pegs into the body, so a plastic dome would probably shatter over time. So this is the compromise they came up with. I get it. I understand why. It just looks a little weird. I agree. I can't come up with anything better personally. I don't know what to suggest. They wanted that dome. They wanted to mold the dome for accuracy's sake, for the, to be like the design of the exosuit. They just couldn't come up with a viable alternative, so they just painted it silver. Okay, I've spent too much time on this, but you get where I'm coming from. It's a decent little exosuit. If it's trying to be Daniel, it somewhat pulls it off, but it is what it is. Alright, so we're going to get into transformation here, and if you're familiar with the blur mold, it transforms exactly the same. You're not in for anything new and exciting. Obviously, you have the big shield here, which can peg into the arm. You can also put it on the back, as I previously showed you. In vehicle mode, you're going to be able to peg it in this way, and have, you can actually flip this little piece down, and then peg it into the side, and you can take the guns and peg them in like this, and then have a Titan Master ride in here, like this, and then when it's in car mode, you can peg it into the side, and it has like a little sidecar almost. So I probably won't show it actually pegged in. Well, I guess I could, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. Well, what I'll do, I'll put this off to the side, and I'll show you how we get there. So, like I said, transformation, I'm going to go pretty quick, because if you're familiar with this mold at all, you already know how to transform this. So put those pieces over the hands, flip these up for now, fold up the feet. These sections are going to open up to the side. You're going to have to pull out this little spoiler, not really spoiler, kind of a thin piece that you fold up there. You're going to fold these up like this, and then peg these together. There you go. Come back, fold these closed. There you go. This piece will normally have the hood hooked on, and then you flip this around. This windshield piece you have to open, and then this little piece you fold up, and that kind of becomes the back of the seat. So close this, and then you're going to bring these down, and they will peg in. And there you go. So this would now peg in here as this little sidecar, and we'll get in closer. Which looks a little weird, granted. I get what they're going for with a little sidecar, because then you could put the other headmaster, open this up, and sit her in there, or him if it is Daniel. And now you can have both Titan Masters riding around in style. He does not want to stay in spot. He likes to fall back because he's too heavy. There we go. So there you go. Personally, I like to have the actual car. So what you can do is you can leave them like this if you want to have the guns, in the front when they're connected. So just have to unpeg this and then go ahead and Actually, you're going to have to fold this down so you can slide this on, and then these two big tabs will tab in right there. There you go. And then you can put this back. And there's your like official vehicle mode. Now again, you can have the guns pointing out if you want to have them deployed. If you like to kind of tuck them back a little bit, you can just spin them around 180 degrees, and that tucks them up a little bit so they're not as noticeable in car mode. So yeah, I think it's cool. Like I said, it's definitely reminiscent of Blur. I mean, there's no hiding the fact that it's more Blur than it is Arcee, but it's decent. And like I said, I really like the paint apps. The blue here on the front's nice. Love that Autobot symbol. You have all the white and the pink interspersed. I think that really works. And then, of course, you have your little Titan Master inside, which I always appreciate. I think that's really fun. So yeah, I think it's a decent vehicle mode. It's definitely more reminiscent of Blur than Arcee, but that's what happens when you reuse a mold. But it's passable. I think it works. So here is the Titans Return vehicle mode next to the Generations vehicle mode. And like I said, I definitely think the Generations vehicle mode is a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more Arcee. This one is not terrible. It's just, I think obviously the Generations one is a little sleeker and just looks a little bit more like Arcee than this one kind of looks like Blur. But I think they did a decent job. I mean, if you see in the front, you can see what they were going for with the blue, and they kind of did curve it in like that. Got the Autobot symbol. So, I mean, it's fairly decently comparable. Like, you can see that they definitely must have looked at this for inspiration because they got as close as they possibly could with this mold. And I think they did a decent job. Can we get a Titan Master to ride up top of here? Kind of. He's a little too big. A little too big. But yeah, so, I mean, like I said, if you can't find this, I think this is absolutely a viable alternative. But I still think, personally, I probably favor the Generations just a tad more. So I actually like this toy a lot more than I thought I would. When I first saw pictures, I thought, oh, they're reusing the Blur mold again. It doesn't really fit Arcee. I was not nearly as impressed as I was the first time I saw pictures of Grotesque. But she's definitely grown on me. Having her in hand, and, you know, the paint quality I think is really great. The color scheme is nice. It's a little bit lighter pink, like I said, than it's showing up on camera. And it's charming. There's something about it that just, it's really growing on me. The little Ultra Magnus Titan Master I also really appreciate. I think they did a nice job with him. Yes, both of their robot modes for their Titan Masters are mostly white, but I think it works in this case. The little silver head for the Titan Master for Arcee is a little weird, but like I said, I understand what they were going for. They're trying to give it that domed look of the exosuit for Daniel, and I don't know of a better way to do it. Otherwise, you would have had to just make it like a clear color, but that wouldn't really work either. I don't know. It's a little weird, but I get what they're going for. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to complain about. I definitely think that the original Arcee Generations toy is a better representation of the character, but that's because it was a mold that was made solely for her, so of course it's going to be more fitting. This is a decent, well, better than decent. It's a pretty good use of this mold to make an Arcee figure. I think they actually did a decent job. If they could have made a mold that was solely for Arcee as a Headmaster or Titan Master, I think it would have been amazing. But I think what they accomplished is really good. I like the head sculpt. I love the color scheme. I love the rounded shoulders, but still having these in the back to try to give that classic look. I mean, the homages are definitely there. Oh, also another thing I want to demonstrate, you can actually hide the guns back there as well if you want to store them in robot mode, so you can leave them back there. They fit. So I think that's pretty cool. I like this figure, like I said. It really has grown on me. I didn't think I would like it as much as I do. But it's fun to get Arcee into the Titans Return line. At this point, like I said, I'm just kind of sorry we didn't get Springer. I feel like he's the only Season 3 alum of the main cast that didn't get the Titan Master treatment, and that's a bummer. But what are you going to do? I like this toy. I definitely think if you can get it, it's worth picking up, especially now that it's a Toys R Us. I don't think it's going to be on shelves. I think it's going to be a website exclusive. But, I mean, if you have reward dollars or if there's a sale, or you can get free shipping or something. I think it's totally worth it. Definitely worth picking up and adding to your collection. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about Arcee and the Titans Return line? So let me know what you think. Please like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at Deluxe Titans Return Arcee from Transformers Titans Return. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.